They can come down and shake hands.
Good evening, everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. This is always my favorite school board. All the school board meetings are good. I have to say that, right? But this is my favorite school board meeting of the year. First of all, I want to say on behalf of our school board and Mrs. Winter, our assistant superintendent, Mrs. Townsend, our business manager for the corporation, and all of our administrative team, that we're glad that you're here this evening. It's always good to see familiar faces and especially friendly faces. This is a good night. This is what school's all about. There's lots of things that go into making an educational experience for students. And I'm all for sports. You can't tell by looking at me now, but I used to play sports. I'm all about the arts. I love the arts. I love for every student to have some kind of niche in school. But the most important reason that we have school is academic achievement and student learning. And so tonight is the night of our most exemplary academic students who are being recognized for a variety of reasons. But the reason we do it on a school board night is because we have an award that we call School Board Scholars. And only students in grades 6 through 12 are eligible for that recognition. I was trying to think earlier this evening when this award started. There might be somebody on the board, or Mrs. Winter might remember, or I probably should have looked it up, but it seems to me like it's been almost 20 years that we've had School Board Scholars. And to receive basically all A's on your report card, and a lot of these students do it year after year after year. To me, that's an amazing accomplishment. And so a huge congratulations and recognition to all our students being recognized tonight. But parents and grandparents, this is your night too. And you can be very proud of your student. You can take a little bit of the credit. I mean, you did provide the biology in most cases, and certainly the structure and the expectation and the discipline that you provided at home made it possible for these students. Whenever I talk in front of a group of people, I always tell them that I'm very proud to be the superintendent of Mississinewa Community Schools. It's an honor to be in this position for me. And let me give you, before I turn it over and we get the program started, let me give you the reasons for that exemplified in the eyes of a 5-year-old child. Last week I was at Westview. I try to get out in the buildings just to snoop around every week, see what's going on. And I have to tell you, and I know I'm biased, but I have to tell you that what I see out in the buildings is very positive. I think we have a great group of teachers, and we have teachers here this evening, not because their child, personally, their own child is being recognized, but because they're here to support the kids tonight. But anyway, back to my story. I was at Westview last week, and I was walking down the hallway, and there's always, when you're in the elementaries, there's always kids out in the hall with their teacher going and coming someplace. Not all the kids at one time, obviously, but there's a small group that's always out in the hall, and there happened to be a kindergarten class out there. A 5-year-old little boy marched up to me and he said, "You called me last night." I said, "Yes, I did. I called you last night." And he walked all the way up to me, grabbed me around the leg and gave me a hug and looked up at me and said, "Thank you for calling." So that's one reason I like my job. I think you can be proud of your students and your school, and we are so glad to have you this evening. And with that said, I'm going to get the program started. We'll start with the high school, and so Mr. Quaterher, our high school principal.
I appreciate everybody coming tonight. I know there's a lot going on. The weather's nice. We don't do this enough. Gather together to recognize outstanding students and staff. But I do want to take time. What we're going to experience tonight is incredible. I have the script in front of me, and the work that's been done by these students and the staff, and certainly you as parents and guardians at home is phenomenal. But none of this would happen without leadership. So I want to take this opportunity to thank our superintendent and our assistant superintendent, Mr. McKenzie and Mrs. Winter, as well as the school board for allowing them to allow us to enrich our students with these many outstanding programs. So please join me in thanking them for their leadership. There's another group I'd like to thank, and I'm going to get introducing them in just a minute. But let me preface this by saying, without these dedicated teachers, none of this would be possible. They spend countless hours tutoring, attending professional development meetings in the summer, preparing curriculum that gives their students every opportunity for success. What many people don't know is that we have a policy of inclusiveness here at Mississinewa High School. That means that any student can enroll in an AP class if they are committed to working hard. The willingness of these teachers to work with all students has created a climate of achievement and hope for all students at Mississinewa High School. We have been recognized nationally and at the state level for our college and career readiness of our students. This year we had another record-breaking year in the area of AP testing. We also had 8 students qualify for the title of AP Scholar with Distinction. 3 qualified for AP Scholar with Honor, and 15 students qualify as AP Scholars. For the 3rd year in a row, Mississinewa High School is proud to announce that we have a National AP Scholar. To be a National AP Scholar, these students must finish in the top 2% of North America of all senior AP exams taken. This is an extraordinary accomplishment. Our AP National Scholar for 2018 was honored at senior night, but I would also like to verbally recognize Paxton Sample again for this outstanding achievement. I would now like to recognize some of our AP teachers are here, and I'd ask them to come up. Not necessarily you come up now, not when I call your name. I'm going to read off the names of all of our AP teachers, many of which who are still here, who are here with us tonight, who others have other obligations, but some have even moved on to different parts of their career. Mr. Arbogast, Mr. Augustine, Mrs. Coons, Mr. Cunningham, Mrs. Daniels, Mr. Forsheet, Mrs. Lopsiger, Mrs. McGuire, Mrs. Quillen, Mrs. Rumpel, Mrs. Speakman, Mr. Steckschulte, and Mr. Williamson. I would ask those teachers come down and help us award the students tonight. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also ask School Board President Dennis Banks to join the teachers as we recognize these students. Again, students, as I call your name, please come forward to receive your reward. First, we will start with our AP Scholars with Distinction. Again, we have many students who qualified for this. Many of these students have already received their rewards or checks, but we would like to recognize the students who, AP Scholars with Distinction, granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. I'm going to read these names. Students, as you hear your name come forward, please hold your applause until we complete the list. Devin Baker, Candace Bartholomew, Nathan Light, Christopher Pavey, Ryan Randolph, Paxton Sample, and Sean Williams, our AP Scholars with Distinction. I'd now like to read the list of students who were granted AP Scholars, granted these students who received scores 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Again, I will read the list. Those students are here in attendance. Please come forward to pick up your award. Riley Cady, Devin Dill, Nathan Earl, Garrett Goebel, Robert Hasted, Haley Herring, Tanner McGuire, Mara Murphy, Caitlin Powell, Haley Rowley, Noah Rumsey, Emma Taves, Isaac Torres, Taylor Watson, and Michaela Yoder, this year's AP Scholars. Come on down, Emma. You need to get one. I would now like to recognize the students who have passed an exam. Again, part of our AP incentive program, every student that passes an AP exam receives a check for $100. So if you pass 1 or more exams, you get a check for $100 for each one. So many of these students have received their checks. If you have not received your check and you are here to collect, when we call your name, please come forward. And again, I would ask that you hold your applause until we've read all the names. Isaac Ulsa, Olivia Banter, Tyler Don Bartel, Noah Black, Aiden Bridges, Slade Carter, Andrew Castanon, Amaya David, Duncan Dill, Nathan Earl, Ian Federhoff, Maya Garcia, Nathan Light, Kirsten Lockwood, Elizabeth Lucas, Bryce Lukey, Tobias Meade, Emma Neal, Chris Pavey, Brielle Remingay, Sierra Risch, Heidi Rowley, Hunter Rumpel, Janae Stevenson, Gracie Stewart, Kristen Terrell, Emma Taves, Grace Turner, Cade Watson, Annika Williams, and Lindsay Young, our students who have passed AP tests this past year. I have learned in my 13 years of administration The kids love the certificates, they love the posters, but there's a different smile when they get the check.
Was I supposed to give everyone a handshake? Oh,
Yes,
my bad.
it's part of the deal. I would now like to recognize Mississinewa High School School Board Scholars for the 2017-2018 school year. We will first start with grade 11. We will recognize grade 11 and then we can applause. Tyler Bartell, Amaya David, Madison Dowderwick, Jacob Emer. And again, if you are here, please come forward to pick up your certificate and check for $50. Caitlin Harris, Robert Jones, Aubrey Lotzenheiser, Nathan Light, Elizabeth Lucas, Emma Neal, Christopher Pavey, Brielle Remier, Madison Stanley, Emily Taylor, Kristen Terrell, Emma Taves, Grace Turner, and Caitlin Wagner, grade 11 school board scholars from last school year. I would now like to recognize the school board scholars from last year's grade 10. Again, I'd ask that you hold your applause as we recognize all of these students. Isaac Alsop, Noah Black, Aiden Bridges, Mackenzie Buck, Brandon Burke, Brandon Cruz, Jenna Dawson, Carly Fons, Haley Herring, Maggie Herring, Kirsten Lockwood, Bryce Lukey, Riley McKee, Chandler Morrison, Malcolm O'Brien, Sierra Rish, Heidi Rowley, Janae Stevenson, Hallie Stroop, Rylan Swaffer, and Sierra Tejan, our grade 10 school board scholars from last school year. I would now like to recognize last year's grade 9 school board scholars. John Alsop, Olivia Bainter, Samuel Bolden, Ian Federhoff, Maggie Lavar, Jordan Lukey, Aaron Purdy, Chloe Sessoms, Mackenzie Sutton, Anna Taves, Elena Webb, Annika Williams, Colin Yoder, and Lindsay Young, last year's grade 9 school board scholars. It is now my honor to introduce to you the incredibly talented RJ Basket principal, Mrs. Jamie Exton.
Good evening. The first thought that comes to my mind after hearing all of those accomplishments is simply, wow. I remember so many of these students, and it's awesome to hear of all their successes. Being a Mississinewa graduate and an instructional leader at the middle school, I am overwhelmed with pride and gratitude of our programming and course offerings that our students are exposed to at Mississinewa Community Schools. At the middle school, we're creating an atmosphere that is engaging and inspiring to students as we prepare them for these courses at the high school. The course offerings at RJ Basket have changed over the past 2 years drastically, with more emphasis placed on what we refer to as STEAM: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We believe that this will prepare our students for the rigor of high school and give them opportunities to explore their interests and develop 21st century skills. We want to give these students the confidence they need to achieve their educational and career goals. All of this would not be possible without the support of Superintendent Mr. McKenzie, Assistant Superintendent Mrs. Winter, as well as our school board. It is my privilege at this time to introduce the RJ Basket School Board Scholars. We'll begin with 8th grade. I get so excited for these kids. Okay, Joey Ayers, please come up. Todd Bernius. Brooklyn Voss. Akasha Coulter. Micah Crisp. Kara Dawson. Jalen Ives. Ella France. Riley Fuqua. Alicia Hunt. Gabrielle Houston. McKenna Kelly. Taylor Kern. Alexandria Lorenz. Olivia Loft. Olivia Lucas. Zach Luchetti. Lily Ludlow. Madison Moon. John Oliver. Braden Potowski. Rylan Pulley. Cassidy Purvis. Caitlin Ramey. Peyton Ricks. Abigail Robinson. Caitlin Roseberry. Hayden Raleigh. Ethan Sample. Wyatt Wakeman. Ella Ward. Nathan Wise. Round of applause for our 8th grade from last year. We'll now move on to our last year's 7th graders, this year 8th graders. Our first one, please come up and Mr. Burbank will give you your certificate. Camille Arbogast. Deja Bowser. Caitlin Burke. Sierra Campbell. Tyler Cook. Jordan Coulter. Jaden Crick. Isabel Cresor. Taylor Dickey. Daniela Joseph. Leah Luchetti. Madison McKee. Audrey Spencer. Jackson Tarpon. Jasmine Terry. Lily Walton. And Kaden Yakel. This concludes the 7th grade. And now we would like to honor our last year's 6th graders, this year's current 7th graders at this time. Our first one is Haley Ayers. Emerson Barron. Boston Burbank. Ian Davis. Bria Dawson. Brooklyn Dickey. Kaylin Green. Taylor Huffman. Adrian Jeter. Raina Jones. Avery Muriel, Cambry Moore, Sophia Morrison, Cora Parandi, Adriana Prater, Nolan Quaterer, Ethan Roberts, Emma Swartz, Jersey Scott, Lainey Sellers, Camilla Shutters, Jackson Simpkins, Micah Silty, Zoe Ward, Amia Weeks, Elliot Williams, Cameron Wardinger, Elijah Young. This concludes our 6th grade Forward College. I now have the privilege of introducing our Director of Elementary Education and the Principal of Northview Elementary, Stephanie Lockwood.
Good evening, everybody, and what exciting times this is for Mississinewa Community Schools. As a graduate of Mississinewa and the mother of 2 graduates and 2 that are still in school, it's very exciting the academic achievements that we see kids accomplishing here at Mississinewa Community Schools now. Over the past few years, we've seen a true culture of change and academic achievement explode here at Mississinewa. We are working hard to create a philosophy of pre-K through 12, which I think you've seen here tonight, and where that we look at where we want our children to be when they leave Mississinewa and go out into the world. So it's been a privilege to work alongside with Mrs. Eckstein and Mr. Quater, and these things wouldn't be possible if it weren't for Mr. McKenzie and Mrs. Winter and the school board for allowing us to offer these programs and these things for our students to accomplish in. At the elementary school over the past 2 years, we have implemented some academic competitions for our kids to participate in, and they've done very well, and they've represented Mississinewa very well with 2 last year of our teams competing at Lucas Oil Stadium at the robotics state level competition. So we've got a lot of other accomplishments to be proud of out of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Along with that, we've started some after-school programming in the areas of computer science and science itself, where kids are able to do some hands-on experimental things, that there may not just be enough time during the school day or for kids to explore further in areas that may be of interest in them. So we're very excited about the accomplishments that we have here at Mississinewa Community Schools and the opportunities that we're able to provide your children. I'm here tonight to recognize those 3rd graders last year that scored a perfect score on IREAD 3. It's hard to score a perfect score on anything. I don't care what you're doing. To get everything right, especially over 3 days that they take this test, to come in on it and give 100% effort and to get a perfect score on a test like this is a hard accomplishment for anybody. Especially 3rd graders, when this is the first statewide really test that they're exposed to in their school career. So for them to come out on top and get everything absolutely right is something to surely be proud of. So as I announce these students' names, if they could come up here. The first one is Ashlyn Baker, Michaela Berryman, Daniel Botts, Makana Brown, Ava Camacho, Nolan Canada, William Kaus, Jonathan Hubbard, Ethan Keene, Troy Cole, Davion Martinez Schrader. Camden McNutt. Jaylee Miller. Karsten Moore. Amanda Turkington. Colton Vaughn. Dawson Ward. And Kyler Wells. Once again, I'd like to congratulate everyone that received an award here tonight, and I, along with everybody else, look forward to seeing what's in store for each and every one of these kiddos in their future. Now I'll turn it back over to Mr. McKenzie.
When we first started this program, we didn't have the elementary students at these gatherings. I would like for the elementary students to stand right now. Elementary students that received an award, stand up. Now, I hope that each of you paid close attention to the older kids that were recognized this evening, that received an award, because they got money. And so, you continue to work hard and get those good grades, and in a few years, we'll pay you off as well, all right? I would like for all of the students that were recognized this evening to stand. If you got an award tonight and a recognition tonight, please stand. I just want to say to you that what you have accomplished is outstanding. It certainly wasn't easy. Just like all normal kids, you would like to, I was going to say turn on the television, but I don't know if kids watch television anymore. Hook into some screen device and put the homework off and put the studying off, but you were disciplined, you made that sacrifice, you were committed to excellence in academics, and we commend you. Continue on that road, and it will pay dividends. More than a $25 or $50 check in the future. So, great job. Let's give them one more round of applause. Outstanding. You may be seated. You've heard a lot of thank yous and expressions of appreciation, and I want to finish by saying that I appreciate Mrs. Winter and the principals and Mrs. Wilson, our secretary, for putting this program together, to organizing it. I know you're busy at this time of year. A lot of outstanding students are involved in a lot of things, not just the classroom, but they're plugged into a lot of extracurricular activities. So it's heartwarming to see that this many people were able to make it this evening. We're so happy that you were with us this evening to be a part of this celebration and continue to encourage the young people. They are our future. And with that said, we're going to conclude the meeting. I just want to tell you that if you want to hang around until 6:30 and get a little civics lesson on how school boards operate, you're welcome to stay free of charge. But if you need to leave or want to leave, we understand that too. So at this point, you are dismissed.
you.